Well, guys, so now prior to starting our theories, so let me tell you this, my students, right? Now right? So today, not today, yesterday. So 2022 batch faced their business studies paper two. Now they're done with PS. Paper is not that much easy, right? It's not like I would say high complicated paper, but it's not easy, I would say, right? It's not easy. Uh, now, so 2023 students, you are the next batch in line. So probably before December or probably in December, definitely they'll be conducting the exam, right? Uh, so for the 2022 batch, so we completed all the theories plus paper discussions, past paper discussion, along with lesson by lesson, and then again full papers, unit papers, right? And some current affairs. So everything by end of November. So I had, if I'm not mistaken, I had my last class for the 2022 batch, November 30th or somewhere. And then December full month, January. So 2 months prior to the examination, there they had a really good time to then again study, because you also need to have a time to study. I'm not a person who will be conducting the class at the last moment. So for the this batch, guys, for the 2020 also I conducted 2 days per week. So that's what I started for the 2023. So Tuesday, as you know, grade 12, there are some pending areas. So that's what I combined 2024 batch and 2023, right, for the grade 12. And please do participate for Wednesday session, which will be conducting grade 13 areas. So we need to, complete or the cover up the syllabus as much as possible, because we have a lot to discuss. There are so many papers. And also, I think I shared the paper as well to the group. So just refer. Only the part two is available still, because part one, they collect the paper, right? So I'll be sharing it once I get it, right? So it's not easy. It's not easy. So for you guys also, so work hard, and then do not miss, class, because, I noticed that, there are, could be uh, difficulties, but somehow, you will have to face the examination. So do your work, and then the best thing is you have to because you don't have to be stressed at the last moment. You have to be very relaxed at the last moment. you know uh, Completing everything prior to 2 months will give you a good confidence to you, right? So then you will again revising that, then you'll be having more questions, you'll be clarifying then and there, right? So I didn't conduct any classes for the last 2 months for them, but they do ask some new questions, refresh their knowledge, call me, stuff like that, right? So then, because if you wait till the last moment, you will stressed out, right? Because not just business studies, along with you'll be having another your rest of the main two subjects, plus you'll be having general knowledge, you'll be having English subject as well. So altogether, like five subjects, I guess. Yeah, five subjects. Correct, but main subject there are only three subjects. So three subjects, six papers, right? Okay, right. So without further ado, moving to our lesson. Guys, so we were talking about lesson number 4, types of business organizations, right? Now coming to the types of big business organization, students. So the main criteria, how we classify business organization based on the ownership. So we know that there are private sector and public sector. So we started with the private sector businesses. So now we have already completed individual businesses. There's a common structure, as I always tell. Introduction, pros and cons, or advantages or the limitations, how to register, and what sort of I would say yeah, the registration process, stuff like that, how you can start such a business, and especially comparison, right? Likewise. So likewise, we talk about sole proprietorship, and the partnership. And today we'll be starting most important area, companies, because in all levels, you have some sort of idea about this, and also it's not that much complicated when you come to you know uh, individual businesses and partnerships. Partnership, little bit, there are some legal areas like Section 24, partnership agreement, stuff like that. That's one of the area that you need to look into. But here, company, because company, we do classify different categories. Because in individual businesses, you don't categorize individual business, just one type. Partnership also same. But companies, there are types of companies. So that's what, this area is more important. Well, so for the 2023, guys, I sent you all the management related tunes, right? Sorry that I couldn't include the lesson number 4, this tune to that set, because it was not available at that moment. But I sent you the soft copies. I think I shared those. So I just asked you to, if you could take relevant printouts, that will be great. So going forward, you will not have to do that. So I'll be sending everything. Yeah, so sharing my screen. Guys, so I'll be coming to that area, and you just have to complete, right, that areas. If you look at the tune, so please complete. If you have anything, just let me know. Right, so likewise, so whatever that we discuss, you have to complete this tune, and it will be good, right? Because it will revise your knowledge as well when you rewrite it. All the areas here, so please complete. What is an organization? Characteristics of formal organization. Likewise, everything I think I have shared to WhatsApp as well, all the notes. And if you want the recording, let me know. So I think it's best, right? It's the best way to watch the recording and complete. So then it will revise your knowledge. So I have put all these spaces. You have to basically complete. Well, now today it's 4.4, incorporated companies. Incorporate companies, right? Let me explain. Right now, students, most of the cases that you start your business from a very little stage, that manner just could be individual businesses, most of the cases. So as you grow, maybe you will convert that into a partnership, or maybe from a sole proprietorship status to the company, will be convert your business to a company. And also there could be a chance that you will be starting a business as a company as well. But most of the cases, දැන් අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාට අහලා තියෙනවා නේද, businesses පටන් ගන්න garage එකේ පටන් ගන්නවා කියලා කියනවා. එතනින් පස්සේ නේද හරිම පොඩියට start කරනවා කියනවා. එතකොට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට වෙන්නේ they will be starting the business as a sole proprietorship business. So එනම් sole proprietor එකෙන් එක්ක partnership කරනවා, එහෙම නැත්නම් කෙලින්ම company එකට convert කරනවා. Because why? There are some advantages that you can, enjoy when you incorporate a company. I have a company, I have a set of companies. So there are a lot of benefits. Well, so let's see the definition, as well as what sort of unique characteristics that when you compare with the individual as well as partnerships. Right. Now, so coming to companies, it says something like that. So you cannot forget the Companies Act. I hope you know Companies Act number 7 of 2007. So it gives you a clarification like this, right? Companies Act, because that is the main legal body when you come to a company, right? When you come to company. Well, so let's come to that part. Well, so here, as per the Companies Act number 7 of 2007, it says the fact that a collection of individuals incorporated under the Companies Act number 7 of 2007 can be introduced as a company. It's a simple explanation. Because when you say a company, so most of the cases, it's a collection of individuals, right? So there will be more people involved rather than compared to a individual business and a sole proprietor, right? So there are, set of companies that you can come up with more examples. So in examination, if they ask companies, you can tell the fact that simply as per the Companies Act number 7 of 2007, it's a collection of individuals who have incorporated as a company. And also further, you can come up with some unique characteristics. So if you could mention the characteristics, obviously, then, you can further explain. So here, it's an independent entity. It's an independent entity incorporated under the Companies Act. Companies Act is the main legal body behind the companies. And also that has the independent legal status distinct from the shareholders, which is basically the legal personality. It's really important because why? When you come to the individual businesses, partnerships, do they have legal status, students? Do they have legal personality? Do they have legal personality? Yes, Netme? Yes or no?
No.
No, right? They don't have legal personality. Whereas that's what you will be held responsible, the unlimited liability. The law or the court does not recognize you. Does not recognize the business as a person. They recognize the person, right? So you'll be held responsible personally for all the liabilities. But company, at the same time, has the benefit of being limited liability. So where as a shareholder, as the owner of the company, you will be only held responsible for the amount you invested. For example, Netme invested, let's say 100,000 rupees by purchasing shares of Cargill's company. So in that manner, Netme is only responsible up to 1 lakh, the amount she invested. Apart from that, if something happened to Cargill's company, they won't be chasing you and coming to Netme saying, you have invested in this company and we have been bankrupt. You have to contribute to settle the debt, right? So what she'll be losing is just the 100,000 she invested. So your liability will be limited up to the amount you invested. You don't have to pay any amount other than that. Well, and also having the legal status. So company can hire employees using the company's name. Company can enter into contracts, agreements. Company can purchase assets such as buildings, motor vehicles, land under the company's name. Sometimes you might have noticed that සමහරව මේ his ඉඩම්වල එහෙම ගහලා තියෙනවා නේද? This property belongs to ABC Private Limited. නේද? මෙම ඉඩම ABC සමාගම සතු දේපලකි. Likewise, you might have noticed that. Well, so which means they can even purchase assets using the company's name. Guess why? In the law, it recognized as a person. So even for the loans, so you take the loan not using your personal name, loan using the company's name. Well, so likewise, you'll be more safe when you compare to the individual and partnership businesses. And here, continuous existence, my dear students. What do you mean by the continuous existence? Perpetual succession, another word. Continuous existence and perpetual succession. Let me explain. Now, if you think about the history of the companies, right? Now, let's say one example, commercial bank is being in the industry for more than 100 years. Cargill's, I think it's also like more than 150 years. John Keells, so me okkoma අපි කියන අර සුද්දෝගේ කාලේ පටන් ගත්ත companies තාමත් තියෙනවා. Like Haley's, Haymar's, John Keells, Aitken Spence, having a history of more than 100 years, right? So, but still continue with the operations. So, whereas now you don't see their founders, but the company exists. Company is still continuous. So then I would say, yes, the perpetual succession. The continuous existence is there because why? It's always separated from the owners or the shareholders. It doesn't matter the shareholder. Now, for example, for an individual business partnership, the partnership partner retire. Partners la rata yana. නැත්නම් individual business එකේ නා ඔක්කොම විකුණලා දාලා migrate කරනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් business එක වහලා දාලා වෙන business එකක් start කරනවා. So it impact the business, right? The owner's decision, the owner's the actions taken by the owner impact the business. But here, no issue because the ownership could be transferred, right? Shareholders love owners love but it doesn't matter. Company will be operating as it is, right? So then you have this continuous existence. So because of the continuous existence, you will be get more advantages as well, especially for you to attract smart people, smart set of people who can manage the business. Then sole proprietor business එකක් advertise කරොත්. Now let me, I think make a explain කරා. For let's say post of accountant. So let's say sole proprietorship business, partnership, and also company advertise to recruit a qualified accountant, right? So obviously people will prefer to apply for a company because considering the job safety, considering the continuous existence, because you never know when the owner decided to, shut down the business operation when you come to a individual businesses and partnership, because it says dissolution also is, අපි කතා කරේ characteristic එක individual and partnerships start කරන්නත් ලේසි, company මේ business එක බහලා දාන්නත් ලේසි. හැදලි start and closing down the business. But company එකක් start කරන්නත් ලේසි නැහැ. start කරනකොට වඩා අමාරුයි company එකක් dissolve කරන එක නැත්තම් dissolution එහෙම නැත්තම් shut down කරන නිසා there's a continuous existence. So to somewhat they can assure the job security of the business, job security of the employees. So it really matters. Well, so that's what, you can attract a set of talented people. Well, so likewise, and also most importantly, you'll get the chance to issue shares. You know what happened, right? So when you issue shares, you can attract more capital flow to the business. Because one of the limitations faced by the students, the best thing to have more knowledge in this lesson is always have a comparison knowledge. This more points compare කරලා බලනවා. individual එකේ නම් මෙහෙමයි, partnership එකේ නම් මෙහෙමයි, company එකේ නම් මෙහෙමයි. So likewise, so then you have that overall idea. So that's what I always refresh and try to compare the points with the rest of the organizations as well, right? So talking about the capital, one of the limitation faced by the individuals as well as partnership is the limitation when it comes to the capital, right? So especially individuals are face a high limitation because owner is only the person who need to provide the capital, but partnership compared to you have more owners, more partners. But above that, you have this option, to issue shares to obtain more capital, right? Now talking about the capital, students, think මේක ඔයගලන්ගේ මේ level එකේ නැහැ. You'll be studying this in a financial management. Your lesson number 15 in our grade 13 syllabus. There's a lesson called financial management. If you are a student who is studying accounting, there is a concept called a liquidity, the loan capital and the equity capital. අපි මේ loan capital එකට තවත් නමක් කියනවා debt capital එක කියලා. Right? In Sinhala we say ණය ප්‍රාග්ධනය සහ හිමිකම් ප්‍රාග්ධනය. So loan capital or the debt capital, and you have the equity capital. So you know for a fact that you can obtain a loan, right? So that belongs to loan capital. Then business එකක් loan එකක් ගත්තා කියලා bank එකේ business එක ඕන කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So that's what it says, the debt capital or the loan capital. So example, there's a business called X. They get a loan from Bank of Ceylon. So the Bank of Ceylon එක අයිතිකරුවෙක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ, just a creditor. But if the X company issues shares, once the investors purchase shares, they'll become the owners of the company. So that's what it says, equity capital. So it's good to have equity capital because why? For the loan capital, you have to pay a fixed interest, and interest also high, likewise. And also, it's good to have more equity, right? Because for the loan, because when you have high loans, it have a impact to your business continuity as well. So most of the cases when you come to sole proprietorship, partnership, unless you have money to invest, the other only option is to take a bank loan. But when you come to companies, obtaining a bank loan is not one of the options. It's just a one option. It's not the main option. You have the option to issue shares, so which will comes under the equity capital, right? So then it's easy that you can expand your business. Even if you further grow, you can even list it in the Colombo Stock Exchange and issuing the shares publicly. So again, you know, you might have heard about the listed company. There's another set of companies called listed companies where you get the chance to list the Colombo Stock Exchange or whatever the stock exchange market in that particular country. So whereas it will give more chance for you to expand your business. So that's going to be one of a good characteristics when it comes to companies. Right. Here, so I explained this already, guys. The liability is limited, right? So it will be limited to the amount to invested. Accumulation of capital through share issues. Yes, you obtain capital through share issue. And also ability to transfer the shares. Let me explain. What shares transfer කරන්න පුළුවන්. එනවා shares ගන්නවා, ඔයාට අවශ්‍ය නැත්නම් ඔයාට විකුණන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So then ඔයාගේ ownership එක වෙන කෙනෙක්ට ආයෙත් තියෙනවා, but it doesn't matter. So company will be operating as it is. ඒ වගේම අපි තුන් parent කෙනෙක්ට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ children වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ shares අයිතිය ලබා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. share transfer කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? transfer කරන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් විකුණන්න පුළුවන්. So that's good thing, right? So maybe especially when you come to a listed entities, their share price might increase. So then you get a chance to, you know, sell and get that this capital gain as well. Because when the share price increases, your wealth also increases. So that's going to be a good feature. The management being carried out by the board of directors. Let me explain this. Now, Samadhi. So Samadhi purchase, let's say, set of shares. So Samadhi gila shares purchase karana. Apitamu when the purchase karane. Hari, SoftLogic company. You know SoftLogic, right? SoftLogic ke shares purchase karana. So Samadhi is thinking that, okay, right now I have become an owner of SoftLogic company. Kela ilang dawase ude yanawa SoftLogic එකේ ගිහිලා office එකට යනවා වැඩ කරන්න කියලා මොන හරි may like you know, to manage the stuff, right? Because like you are owner, no? You can go there, right? Can you do like that? Can you do like that? Huh? So you think that you are an owner because you have invested. So you try to visit the company and see, you know, how they do the business, or for you advisors. Can you do like that? Yes? No, right? Yeah, you cannot do that. Because why? Owners and the management is always separated when you come to company. Right? Are individual partnerships, then partnerships like every partner is entitled to to participate for the management activities, stuff. දැන් මෙතන එහෙම බෑ, right? Just because you purchase shares, just because you become an owner, you cannot go there and supervise, other staff, right? Because why? The management is being carried out by a board of directors, a talented group of people, a set of smart people. Ekin කියන්නේ අගොල්ලෝ smart නැහැ කියලා, but management study කරලා තියෙන experience තියෙන set of people. So that's what they can bring more returns to the business because they are well qualified, well experienced set of people in the board of directors, the board of management, right? Clear? එහෙනම් ඔයා ඕන කෙනෙක් වුණා කියලා ඔයා management එකට නෙමෙයි. So that will be carried out by the board, the management, board of management, right? So that's what the companies can perform well because they are managing the business well. Correct. So that's sort of a characteristics, I would say. And for this to add students, මම මේකට තව දේවල් දෙකක් add කරන්න. දැන් මේ ලේසි නෑ ඔයාට individual partnerships වගේ නෙමෙයි. දැන් ටිකක් වැඩේ සංකීර්ණ වෙන්න යන්නේ. ඇයි? There will be some administration cost for you. දැන් ඔයාලා accounts වල හදන්නේ නේද? Administration cost, distribution, selling and distribution, financial ඒ වගේ දැන් ඔයාගේ admin cost එක ටිකක් වැඩි වෙන්න යන්නේ. Why I'm telling like that? Because right? As per the Companies Act, accounting is compulsory. Is that accounting compulsory when it comes to sole proprietor and partnership? Accounting compulsory? No, accounting is not compulsory. If you wish, you can, it's better to do accounting, but it's not compulsory when it comes to sole and partnerships. Well, but here the Company Act specifically says that if you are a company, you go to account, you need to bookkeeping, right? Accounting is compulsory. And accounting, auditing also compulsory. You have to audit the financial statement. So accounting compulsory, auditing. Likewise, if I get legal පැත්ත ටිකක් වැඩි, right? So legal impact is quite high. So අපි ඒක point එකක් add කරගමු. Right, guys. So please come back to your tute. I hope you have the hard copy with you. If not, please take your book and write the topic incorporated companies and write characteristics of incorporated companies. So then we're gonna write this, please. So we have to complete the tute. Right? So please come there. So I have kept spaces for the definition or the introduction. So intro is here. Please write that along with the, example. You can come up with more examples, right? What are කැමති examples ගන්න පුළුවන්. Here, companies, and also please write the characteristics. මම ඒකට add කරනවා. Accounting also compulsory. Accounting is compulsory. හරි. දැන් මම ඒකට තවත් එක point එකක් add කරන්නද මේ හොඳට අහගන්න. Now when it comes to taxes, do you need to pay taxes using the business name when it comes to sole and partnership? How do you pay taxes when it comes to sole and partnerships? Do you have to pay taxes? No, you cannot pay taxes using the business name. But here there will be company tax. So, if you remember the lesson number 3, government and business, there was a lesson called taxes. ඒකේ තිබුණා corporation tax, like a company tax, right? It's a direct tax, company tax. Company tax applicable, so you have to pay taxes on behalf of the business, right? Business again, naming water, you can business company, right? Company ke naming water tax ගෙවීමට සිදුවේ. You will have to pay tax using the company name, but අනිත් පැත්තේ එහෙම නෙමෙයි. Sole and partnerships වල You don't have to pay taxes using the business name, but here, yes, so you have to pay taxes using the company name. So I'm going to add that as well. Paying taxes using company name. Well, shall I give you 5 minutes? Please complete. This lesson is a full theoretical lesson. Drop me a message once you're done, once you're, and also if you have any questions. Yeah, what about you, Samadhi? Are you done? Okay, sure. No issue. Okay, now I'm gonna show you the Companies Act, right? So then ඔබල බලද්දි මොකක්ද මේ හැමතිස්සෙම අපි කතා කරන Companies Act නේද? As per the Companies Act. ඉතින් මොකක්ද ළමයි act එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ? What do you mean by an act? Right? So you know the parliament where it's the legislation, right? So they prepare laws, right? Policies. So so basically to the parliament, right? So act will be presented to the parliament and our representatives, right? Our representatives. So they'll be making a decision to, whether to approve that or not. So if it is approved, it will become a law, right? The country. So likewise, so if you go to the website, www.parliament.lk, right? So this is official website of the Sri Lanka Parliament. So yeah, you can download the Companies Act. So actually it's like a book, right? So once you download it, so you'll see this one, right? So this is that. So it's like a contents of 488 pages. It's like a, pretty much a book. So here Companies Act number 7 of 2007 presented to the 20th March 2007. Likewise, if you see the content, now you don't have to, go and මොකද්ද මේ Companies Act එක පාඩම් කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මේ Companies Act එකේ තියෙන important දේවල් තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ lesson එකට අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. The legal status, types of companies, how to incorporate, which means how to register අපි ගැන කතා කරනවා. Then incorporation of a company, what are the requirements as name, there are some restrictions when you come to the names, how to change the name, likewise and articles of association. So මේ හැමදේම ඔයාලට මෙතන තියෙන important දේවල් තමයි මෙතනින් තමයි මේක තමයි source එක. You need to know the source, right? The source is the Companies Act number 7 of 2007. And also here is the website of the department of the registrar of the companies. අපි මේකට කියනවා DRC කියලා. This is the place where you need to go to incorporate your company. Like you go to the divisional secretariat office to register the name of your business when you come to sole and partnerships. So likewise, because when you come to companies, it's compulsory, right? The registration is compulsory. So it's what we call the Samagam Madura DR Vijayawardena Mawatha Colombo Tent, right? So it's in Maradana, the companies, the registrar of the companies, correct? So there are two important links. So I'm gonna just share that as well to the group. Just go there and refer, right? Because you need to know the source. You need to know the source, right? So coming back to our lesson, now we're gonna talk about some advantages and some limitations when it comes to companies. හැම එකකම වාසි අවාසි තියෙනවා. හැම එකක්ම වාසි විතරක්ම නෙමෙයි නේද? So every coin consists of two sides නේද? කාසියක දෙපැත්තක් තියෙනවා වගේ මේ හැම concept එකකම වාසි අවාසි දෙකම තියෙනවා. So that's what we need to know as a business studies student. Right, so I'll share these two links. So that is for, your additional knowledge. Well, so now coming back to the characteristics. Sorry, the uh, limitations, right? Advantages and the limitations. And now first come to the advantages, right? So from the characteristics itself, you can come up with an idea about these advantages. Now, there is a characteristic, right? There's characteristics called you can issue shares. Now, what's the benefit of issuing shares? Obviously, you are in a position to raise more capital. So that would be one of advantage, right? So large amount of capital. And then you are in the possibility of beginning a large scale business. Now, is there any large scale businesses when it comes to individual or the partnerships? So most of the time that will be limited, right? So all the large scale businesses are companies. The type of business is the incorporated companies. And then ability to recruiting a smart management team to carry out its business affairs. Why? Because it has the continuous existence. It has the limited liability. So then people will interested to join a company. So they do prefer a company rather a sole proprietor or a partnership like I explained here. So it's a good thing, right? Because when you have a smart set of people, you need to always hire people who are smarter than you. Smart recruit because then all you can get the best out of them. And then yes, ability to attract new investors because of the limited liability. Right? Because if there's unlimited liability, will you be invest in a company? No, it's gonna be a risk, right? So if something happened to the company and the company is unable to fulfill the debts or the loans, they will come back to you and say you have to pay this amount because you are an investor, you have unlimited liability. So having an unlimited liability is a limitation to attract new investors. But here it's limited liability. So then it's a feature. So it's one of the characteristics will give you a lot of benefits cause why you can attract new investors. වැඩිම වුණොත් ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරපු මුදල විතරයි නැති වෙන්නේ. එතනින් එහාට you don't have any obligation. The death or the resignation of the shareholders does not have any adverse effect. මම අර කිව්වේ ඉතින් දැන් හරිනේ දැන් ඊට අවුරුදු 100කට 150කට විතර start කරපු companies වල founders ලා shareholders ලාද නැහැ. Right? But still the company is there. So which means the death or the resignation or the migration of the shareholder does not have any adverse effect, right? So once they are, even they are died, so they can transfer their that the shares ownership belongs to their, maybe the spouse or the children, right? So the ownership will transfer, so they can sell their shares. So it does not have any adverse impact. Now, what happens? The death or the resignation of the partners, the death or the resignation of the owner, the sole owner of the individual businesses. So it has an impact on the business. The direct impact is there, but here there is no adverse impact. And the ability to assemble qualified and skillful human resource, yes, as we talk about, and also having the business legality, right? The court or the law identify a company as a person where you can enter into contract, where you can hire employees, where you can hire, assets, stuff like that. So having the legality. Well, so please come to this one. You have incorporated company students. So please divide into two. Right here, advantages side of it. And here, limitations. So you have, quite space for this. Can you please write some advantages first here? So then I'll come back to the limitations. And also I will add some more points as well. Right, so what are the more points? I would say So higher admin cost compared to other one, you have a higher admin cost. Why there's admin cost? You need to have a company secretary, right? You need to do accounting, taxation, audit. So there'll be some sort of an admin cost as well. Sorry, that not gonna be a limitation, right? So I'll add that to the limitation. Students, right? Not here, right? Just take this, please. This is all our, advantages. Well, so here you have the advantages. Now it's easy, right? Now when you know the characteristics, you can derive set of advantages. Why characteristics දන්නවා නම් එතනින්ම පුළුවන් ආට ඒක convert කරන්න advantage එකක් විදියට. Example, the characteristics of issuing shares will give you the advantage of the ability to raise more capital. Well, and also having the characteristics of legal personality will give you the opportunity to attract qualified, skillful people to your business, and also to attract new investors because of the limited liability. So if you know the characteristics, you can come up with the advantages as well. And I hope you are clear with this. Well, so moving to the other one, you know, right? So the other part is the limitations. Yes, so every concept, everything, නේද හැම දෙයකම වාසි තියෙන අවාසි තියෙන හොඳ පැත්තක් තියෙනවා නරක පැත්තක් තියෙනවා likewise. So coming to the limitations, අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් disadvantages කියන්නේ නැහැ, we say as a limitations, right? සීමාවක්. Legal impacts being very strict. දැන් ඒක මාට පැහැදිලි වෙනා නේද my dear students? ඇයි බලන්න මේ document එකම 488 pages. දැන් මම තාපව පෙන්නුවති companies act එක. මේ act එකම පිටු 488ක් තියෙනවා. There are a lot of sections. Here මේ ඔක්කොම නීති. Requirements of the name, restrictions, ඊට පස්සේ articles of association අපි ගැන කතා කරනවා ඉස්සරහට. Right, contracts වෙන්නේ කොහමද? ඊට පස්සේ so many there stuff like shares, the debentures, ඊට පස්සේ rights of the shareholders, so many legal implications here, like, and this is not the way, right? The මේකම විතරක් නෙමෙයි තවත් general rules and regulations apply වෙනවා. Likewise, the registrar of the companies, ඒ වගේම මේ company එක share issue කරලා නම් listed වෙලා නම් ඒතර share market එකේ rules apply වෙනවා Colombo Stock Exchange එක and Securities and Exchange Commission එකේ rules apply වෙනවා. ඒතර ලේසි නෑ නා. ඔව් නීතිමය බලපෑම් නැත්නම් නීති වැඩි කියන එක තමයි අපිට කියන්න වෙන්නේ. But ඔයාලට මතකයි නේද when it come to a sole and partnerships අපි කතා කරේ legal impacts එච්චර නැහැ කියලා නේද? But here, yes, legal impacts being strict. Well, the next one. Procedure of establishment also complicated and expensive. You know that there are, you know, student time for you to tell you this, guys. There are set of companies, they what is their business? You know what is their business? Their business is helping other companies to be incorporated. You can business consultancy companies තියෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ business එක තමයි companies registration කරන්න උදව් කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ document preparation, all the documentation, the legal help, you know, to prepare articles of association. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ companies register කරන්න උදව් දෙන්න සමාගම් වෙනම ඉන්නවා. ඒක තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ main business එක. Likewise, you can see, right? එතකොට මේකට ගොඩක් cost එක යනවා, මේක expensive සහ මේක ලොකු process එකක් to establish a company. Not like not easy like you think when you come to sole proprietorship and the partnerships වගේ මේක lazy වැඩක් නෙමෙයි, right? ඒ නිසා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් the procedure establishment නෙමෙයි ඇත්තටම මේ තියෙන්නේ dissolution එකත් හරිම complicated. මොනවාද dissolution කියන්නේ? Shutting down the business. නැත්නම් business එක වහන එකත් business එක කියලා කියන්නේ මෙතන company එක. එහෙනම් company එක start කරන්නත් lazy නැහැ. company එකක් වහන්නත් lazy නැහැ කියන්නේ shutting down your business operations. Right. මම මේ දෙකම එකපාර ඔයාලට explain කරා. මෙන්න අනිත් එක. Since the voting power is based on the number of shares held by each shareholder, අපි මේ concept එකට කියනවා one vote for one share, then minority shareholders are not being strong enough to influence the management decision. Now let me clarify this, students. Hi, then me balan. You know the voting right. Do you have the voting rights now? You have the voting right. I'm telling the election voting rights. Still no? Or yes?
No, sir.
Still no, right? Okay, right. So when you get the chance, you know, use that wisely, right? You know, that has happened to our country. So you have to use that properly, right? So talking about again, Chanda Bale. Now let me tell you this example then. Or දැකලා ඇතිනේ ඡන්දේ දාන්න නේද? අම්මලා තාත්තලා යනවා නැත්තම් ටීවී එකෙන් දැකලා තියෙනවා ගිහලා වොට් කරලා නාර ගිහලා පාට කරලා හෙමෙන්නේ නේද ලස්සන. හරි. මම දැක ලස්සන පෝස්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා දැන් අර මේ දවස්වල කියනවානේ මේ papers අඩුයි මොනවාද දැන් ඔය ලයිසන් එක එහෙම දෙන්න ඉෂුව කරන්න නැහැ ඩෙන්ටිටි එක කොලයක් දෙනවා ඒ වගේ දැන් අපිට තියෙනවානේ පොඩි රිසෝසස් නැතිකම ඔය papers ink අනංගන ඉතින් මම දැක එකක් තියෙනවා දැන් ඡන්දේට අර ඇඟිල්ල පාට කරන කියලා ඔක දන්නනේ අර ඡන්දේ දැම්ම කියලා So ඒකේ දාලා තිබ්බ මීම් එකක් මේ දැන් මේ එන ඡන්දෙදී ඇඟිල්ල පාට කරන්න ඇඟිල්ලට මිටියෙන් ගහනවා කියලා. පොඩ්ඩක් මේ නිල් වෙන්න. Likewise. So okay. So what I try to tell you, students. So so this part, right? So when you come to the one watt one share, දැන් මට කියන්න ඔයාට ද ලංකාවේ වැඩිම පෝසත් පුද්ගලයා විදිහට එයාට පුළුවන් දෙපාරක් කියලා ඡන්දේ දාන්න නෑ නේද? කාටවත් දෙපාරක් කියලා ඡන්දේ දාන්න බෑ එකපාරයි පුළුවන්, right? Even the richest person, so it doesn't matter, right? The wealth or your designation doesn't matter. As an individual, as a citizen, you will get the chance to vote. එකපාරයි ලැබෙන්නේ. දැන් ඒක අපේ මේ election ඡන්දනේ ඔය. හරි දැන් this is when you come to the voting powers when you come to a company. You know, once you become a shareholder, once you purchase ordinary shares, right? Again, there are types of shares. I'm not gonna explain the types of shares right now because we have a separate lesson for that. So let's say once you purchase shares, you will become an owner or a shareholder. So shareholder has a right to what when you come to business decision. දැන් කොහොමද මේ කම්පැනි එක වෙන්නේ? ඔන්න කම්පැනි එක මැනේජ්මන්ට් එකක් separately තියනවා තමයි. හැබැයි ඒ මැනේජ්මන්ට් එකේ සමහර decision ගන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ owners ලාගේ කැමැත්ත ගන්න ඕනේ. පැහැදිලිද මේ වැඩේ? So just because they are the board of management, they cannot for some decision like their day-to-day operations, they can take the decisions. But there are some, specific decision that they need to get the consent of the shareholders. ඒගොල්ලෝ shareholders ලාගේ කැමැත්ත බලන්න ඕනේ. Example එකක් appointing directors, appointing auditors. ඉතින් මේ වගේ ඒ වගේම distributing of the dividends. ඒ වගේ අර key decisions වලට අහන්න ඕනේ කාගෙන්ද shareholders ලාගේ කැමැත්ත අහන්නේ කොහොමද? By this meeting. ඒකේ තියෙනවා annual general meeting, special shareholder meeting ඔය වගේ දේවල් වලදී ඔයාලට පුළුවන් vote කර. You get the right to vote. But here what happens? Here the voting right, it's not based on one man, one vote. දැන් අපිට normally තියෙන one man, one vote නේ. එක පුද්ගලයෙක්ට එක ඡන්දය. හැබැයි the voting right when it come to companies based on not based on a person, it's based on the number of shares. So which means the more shares, more power, right? Because per share you'll be getting a one voting right. So if you have 1,000 shares, you have 1,000 votes, which means you can influence in the decision. So that's what we can say. If you are a major shareholder, what brings you is the ability to influence, because why you'll get higher voting power. But the minority shareholders, since they're having a less number of shares, they have a less power. So that could be come to a situation where even the minority shareholders, they do not agree for some cases. But if the major shareholder against or for that, obviously the minor shareholders' opinion will be ignored. Why? Because the voting power. So voting power based on the number of shares that you held with the company. So ඒකදී අර සුළු නැත්නම් අර minority shareholders ලාට එකෙන් අවශ්‍යයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But they also have contributed to the company, right? එහෙම පොඩි අය කීප දෙනෙක් එකතු වෙලා ලොකු එකක් හැදලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒක අවශ්‍යයක් වෙනවා. Remember that. So one man, one vote concept brings you some disadvantages. So it's a kind of a limitations, I would say. So it's a limitation when you come to minority shareholders. Main shareholders ලාට ඒක හොඳයි වාසියක්. Profit is subjected to double taxation because tax is levied on the profit of the company as well as dividends paid to the shareholders. Students, let me explain that. So what do you mean by the double taxation? Anyway, tax rate also high. That also one thing, right? Can someone tell the company's tax rate, please? We talk about this when you come to the lesson number 3. මට කියන්න company tax එක කීයද දැන් rate එක කියලා? Yes, what is the corporate tax?
8%.
Sorry?
8.
8%? No, higher than that, right? So it close to 30% for some cases, right? So previously it was like 4. Well, so let me explain that. So, when it comes to a company, right? So let's say that you have an idea about the profit and loss statement. No? So you have like, your sales. So basically your income, I will take your income, right? So you'll be having your income here. So let's say having 100,000 income. So income might consist sales, other revenue, stuff like that. Then you have your expenses, no? Like, your cost of sales, and then your admin cost, your selling and distribution, financial, others. So likewise, I'm not going to go into much detail. So you'll be having a set of expenses. So let's say the expenses altogether like 60,000. So then you'll be ending up with something called 40,000. Now we tell a name for this. So this is basically the profit, right? The difference between income and expense is the profit. But we name this as a PBT. What do you mean by PBT? Any idea? Do you have any idea what is PBT? What is PBT? මේකට අපි කියනවා profit before tax එක කියලා. Got the profit before tax, because why there'll be tax, profit before tax එක, PBT. So let's say tax rate is 30%. Let's say tax rate is 30%. So then 40,000 වලින් or 30% tax එකක් කියන්නේ 12,000, right? So let's imagine the tax rate is 30%. So here you will be paying the tax. So tax at 30%. Remember, so tax could be at 28%, 14%, and also for some cases even 40%. So something like liquor production, tobacco companies, business world, even the higher rate. Imagine you are paying 40% tax. 40% tax. Well, so here, so let's say tax at 30%. So which is 12,000, right? So we'll be paying a tax. එහෙනම් දැන් ඔය එක tax එකක් pay කරා නේද? එහෙනම් double taxation කියවම තව tax එකක් එන්න ඕනේ. Right. දැන් මෙතනින් අඩු වෙනවානේ. So then ඔයාට එනවා answer එකක් 40,000 වලින් 12,000 අඩු කරාම 28,000 නේද? අපි මේකට තව නමක් කියනවා. මොකද්ද මේකට කියන්නේ? මේකට අපි කියනවා PAT එක කියලා. මොකද්ද PAT එක? Guys, what is PAT then? What is PAT? Easy, right? Profit after tax, right? So now PAT එක අපි කියනවා profit after tax. Profit after tax, because we'll be reducing the tax here. Correct. Now, what happens to this profit? Can I know? Then may 28,000 වලට මොකද කරන්නේ? Company එකේ. It belongs to whom? To the shareholders, right? To the owners. So you need to distribute this profit. So there's something concept called even retained profits. අපි මේකට retain earnings කියලා ඔයා දන්නවා. ඒ කියන්නේ සමහරට මුළු profit එකම බෙදන්න නැතුව පොඩ්ඩක් company එකේ තියාගෙන ඉතුරු ටික බෙදන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? For example, so you earn 28,000 rupees profit ne. So the management decided to keep 8,000. Samanya අපි කියනවා profit එකෙන් කීපයක් තියාගන්න. So retain profit කියලා for future purposes, right? So 20,000 බෙදන්නත් පුළුවන්. Now here we'll assume that they'll be distributing the whole amount, right? 28,000. So what happened? So you need to distribute this 28,000 among your shareholders, So එහෙනම් ඔයාගේ අපි කියනවා dividend එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ share එකකට කොච්චර earning එකක් ඔයාට ලැබෙනවද? So then once you distribute this 28,000, what happened? There'll be something called a dividend tax. එහෙනම් ඔයාගේ profit එකට tax එකක් තියෙනවා. This is the tax number 1. And then once you distribute the profit among the shareholders, right? මේක මේ විදිහට බෙදනවානේ shareholders. අපි හිතමු මෙතන ඉන්න shareholders ලා 10ක් කියලා. Right? So 10ක් නෙවෙයි අපි ගමු 5ක් කියලා. A B C D E, right? A B C D E කියලා අපි ගමු මෙතන shareholders ලා 5 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. So once you distribute, again you will have to pay a tax called a dividend tax. So how you gonna distribute? It's based on the number of shares they have purchased, right? So maybe the different people have purchased different number of shares. So you have to pay the dividends, which is the return. So when you're paying the return based on the dividend income, you will have to pay a tax. So that's what is the double taxation. So double taxation can මොකක්ද එහෙනම්? So what do you mean by double taxation? Tax on company profit. Tax on company profits. Other one, tax on dividends. Tax on dividends. Dividend එක කියන්නේ ආගේ return එක, right? Correct. Can we have this, please? මේක ආගේ දාගන්න ආගේ short notebook or else the tune ඉත තියෙන ඕනම තැනක. But get this idea what do you mean by a double taxation? Tax on company profit and tax on dividends. Let me know, students, once you are done. Well, now coming to the taxes, right? So I'll show you some document. Basically, students, so tax company tax rate එක decide කරන්නේ sect එක අනුව. දැන් example එකක් විදිහට as per the companies the Inland Revenue Department මම හිතන්නේ මම මේ screen එක පෙන්වුවා lesson number 3 එකේ these are the types of taxes, right? So here if you click the tax rates for companies you realize it. So මේකත් මම හිතන්නේ දැන් වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ not 24%. දන්නවනේ ඉතින් ලංකාවේ website එක update කරලා නැහැ. So here, but let me explain. Here it's 24%, but there are some special rates. Special rate එක කියන අපි කියන concession rate එක. දැන් අපි බැලුවොත් education institute එකක්, hospital එකක් ඒ වගේ you should realize here, for example, if you think about like constructing, gem mining, agricultural businesses, educational services, healthcare, ඉතින් ඒ වගේ අර ප්‍රොමෝට් කරන්න ඕන sectors වලට concession rate එක තමයි 40% දීලා තියෙනවා 40%. ඒ වගේම සමහර තියෙනවා 10% යන ඒවාක් තියෙනවා. But at the same time you will also realize that kind of the 40% තු තියෙනවා මොනවාද 40%? Like gaming වගේ gambling ඊට පස්සේ import and sale of liquor and tobacco මම කිව්වේ. ඒවට 40%, right? Casino ඊට පස්සේ gambling ඊට පස්සේ liquor tobacco වගේ 40% වගේ higher rate එකක් යනවා. ඒතර මෙතන specify කරලා නැති අනිත් ඒවාට normally 24 tax වෙනවා. නමුත් so as per the update, so here's the updated figures. මම හිතන්නේ දැන් ඒ 40% සු 30% විතර increase කරලා තියෙනවා even for the educational services. කලින් තිබුණේ 40%. Now with the effect of 1st of October, 30%, right? So likewise, so usually tax rates are high. So just for your additional knowledge. Well, now coming back to the incorporation of a company, right? දැන් අපි කතා කරන්න යන්නේ කොහොමද company එකක් අපි register කරන්නේ කියලා. So it's not an easy process. ඒක lazy process එකක් නෙමෙයි. ඒ වගේම it's compulsory to register. අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කියන්නේ නැහැ company එකක් register කරනවා කියලා. අපි කියන්නේ company එකක් incorporate. So we do incorporate a company. That company එකක් incorporate කරනවා කියලා තමයි අපි normally කියන්නේ. So let's see how we can do that. So coming to the incorporation, students, right? So it's compulsory and that is as per the Companies Act number 7 of 2007. එතකොට ඔයා කොහෙද යන්න ඕනේ? ඔයා company එකක් register කරන්න එතකොට divisional secretary office එකට ගිහිල්ලා හරියනවද නැහැ. So you will have to go to the the Department of Company Registrar in Colombo 10. So I showed you the previous website. I think so let me again share it back quickly. So you have to go to this place. Yes, the Department of the Registrar of the Companies. Correct. I think make it in a first step. You have to do a name search. So you need to ensure students that there is no similar or an identical name that you are suggesting to register. Then our company namak දානවානේ. එතකොට පොඩි clarification එකක් ගන්න වෙනවා. Right? So you need to verify your name actually. Right? Correct. So I'll show you that. Well, so let's say that now can you start a company called Hemas? Can you start a company called Cargills? Can you start a company called Laughs? Can you start a company called SoftLogic? No. Why? Because they are already incorporated. Correct? Because if the registrar allows you to incorporate a company, then what happens? So it will mislead the public. SoftLogic company. So you need to ensure the fact that your name is unique to you. So how you gonna do? You have to do a name search. So that's the very first step here, students. So here, if you notice that the first step, so the rules is the Companies Act, right? Or the base when method law Companies Act or the company registrar with they are in the Department of Company Registrar. Now here, register the name of the company. So let's see how you can register the name. So here, now guys, can you suggest a name? I want you to suggest a name for a company. Let's say in future, if you start a business, you need to come up with a name. Now, api metana baluwati example like vidihata Cargills. What do you think? Cargills is here. It says potentially similar name found. But what make it a verifications දාන්න පුළුවන්. But potentially similar name found. It's a name contain or they can ඒ ළඟින් යන්නත් බෑ. ඒ විදිහට ගොඩක් characteristics now tell ඔයාලට explain එකක් example එකක් කිව්වොත් ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැමෝම දන්නනේ Burger King එක. Burger King. එතකොට ඒකට කලින් shop මේ restaurant එකක් තිබ්බා Burgers King කියලා කවුරු හරි එක්කෙනෙක් start කරලා තිබ්බා. දැන් Burger King, Burgers King. S අකුරට apostrophe එක දාලා. But it decided that later on, it will mislead the people. එතන පොඩි S එකේ වෙනසක් තිබුණාට it will mislead the people. So you cannot start with such a name. So that's what you have to see. අපි තව එකක් මෙතන search කරොත්. So let's say I'm gonna go with something like what else? Can you suggest a name, guys? Let's say Softbake. Softbake. No. Here, the name already exists and cannot be reserved. Please add the word and try again. මොනවාද already තියෙනවනේ the companies දෙකක්. එකක් තමයි Software International අනිත් එක Software. Really sorry, no? Right. What else? What else, guys? What do you think? If you ever start a company, ABC, it says it's available, but ABC Management Services, ABC Golden Rice. So that is available. Now you have to, so you cannot again have a company called ABC Management Service. Maybe like ABC Healthcare possible, no? Because there's no name called ABC Healthcare. Now if we go with ABC, because ABC කියන එකෙන් potentially දේවල් තියෙනවා. right? හැබැයි ඒක different sectors එකක් තමයි ABC Golden Rice Express. ඒතකොට ඒක rice manufacturing company එකක්. ඒක management ABC OTA healthcare. But let's say ABC education. Similar එකක් තියෙනවා but මේකට යන්න පුළුවන් නේ. It says available. Why we can say it's available team? මොකද ABC කියලා තිබුණාද ABC education කියලා තිබුණ නැහැ. That's why ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා මේක similar name තිබුණාට we can proceed. But අතන කලින් proceed කරන්න බෑ නේද? one plus smart way කියන එක. That's a smart way ද? Smart way බෑනේ. The name already exists. Smart way holdings, smart way international, smart way engineering. But අපිට මෙහෙම යන්න පුළුවන් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. අපි බැලුවොත් smart way education කියලා කියොත් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට යන්න පුළුවන් නේද? Yes, so it's available. Likewise. So because there will be in a different sectors, right? Remember, this is not a brand, right? This is not a brand. This is a company's name. Correct. So first you have to do what then? Get a name confirmation. Or ගන්න වෙනවා එහෙනම් ඔයාගේ company ගේ full name එකට remember full name company ගේ full name එකට identical වන වෙනත් company names නැහැයි කියලා ඔයාට confirmation එකක් ගන්න වෙනවා. So basically what you can do, you can go there and search, right? So your suggested name. So if it says available or දැක්ක එක තැනක available තිබුණා අනිත් තැනක කියනවා sorry it's already taken කියලා. Already taken ඔයාට ඒකට යන්න බෑ. Right? Correct. I think එහෙනම් you need to ensure that your name is available. එහෙනම් අපි ඒකට කියන මොනවාද? Here register the name of the company first. Company ගේ නම ඔයාට මුලින්ම register කරගන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. Correct. Then what's the procedure? Yes, I'll be sharing that link as well to you. මට එකක් දෙවන්න link එක. ඔයාට පුළුවන් ඉතින් නේ නම් කීපයක් check කරලා බලන්න search කරලා. So I'll be sending that as well. Right. So coming back to the our note, then what is the next step? So now let's say our name is available. So we can just reserve that. We have to reserve it first up. So then when it is confirmed that the proposed name of the company is not similar or identical as the name of an existing company, the following documents. First, name register කරන්න ඕනේ. කොහොමද name register කරන්න? You need to ensure that your proposed name or your suggested name is not a similar or a identical as name of an existing company. එහෙනම් හිතන්න ඒකත් okay නේද? හරි. So then only you have to start the documentation. මොකද දැන් ඔයාගේ name එක available නැත්නම් you cannot proceed, right? So if the name available, you can proceed with the documentation. So basically you need to have an application. දැන් හැම එකටම application එකක් අවශ්‍යයි. Solve partner හැම එකටම application. So likewise the company application එක අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. Then articles of association, put a star mark. I'll separate explain what is articles of association. මම එක separate ඔයාලට explain කරන්න. So it's like the company's internal rules and regulations. Now can someone tell me the internal rules and regulations when it comes to partnership එකේ මොකක්ද තියෙන්නේ? Written agreement එහෙම නැත්නම් partnership constitution කියලා අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තා නේද? When it is in written format, the agreement, the partnership constitution. ඉතින් මේ විදිහට company එකේ කොහොමද shareholder right, types of shares, කවුද මේකේ management එක මේ වගේ මේකේ තියෙන rules and regulations, rights and responsibilities මේ ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම company's objectives, company එක මොනවද කරන්නේ, ඒ වගේ ඔක්කොම විස්තර දාලා articles of association. මම ඒක සරලව explain කරේ. I'll be take that separate. So you have to process. ඉතින් මම කියවනේ it's not easy, right? So you have to get the lawyer's advice. ඉතින් මේ විදිහට company incorporate කරන consultant කෙනෙක් ළඟට ගිහලා ඔයාලට පුළුවන් මේවා prepare කරගන්න එනවා. Articles of association. Put a star mark that when you are writing. And here the statement containing the consent of the each founder to act as a director. එනවා ඔයාගේ company initially director කෙනෙක් විදිහට වැඩ කරන්න consent එක ගන්න වෙනවා. කැමැත්ත පළ කරන ප්‍රකාශයක් ගන්න වෙනවා. The statement contains the consent of the founder secretary. You know, right? Company secretary. සමහරවල් දැකලා ඇති ඔය පාර එහෙම බෝඩ් එකක් දෙනවනේ. lawyers ලගේ office ළඟ තියෙනවනේ company secretary ඒ විදිහට. ගොඩක් ලාට company secretary කියලා ගන්න lawyer කෙනෙක්ව. ඉතින් එතනදී ඒ secretary ආගේ consent එක දෙන්න ඕනේ. මම කැමති මේ company ගේ founder. ඒ කියන්නේ ආරම්භක ලේකම් ලෙස වැඩ කරන්න කියලා. සමාගම් ලේකම් company secretary. Right? Correct. Then along with these certificates, you have to provide it to the registrar. Registrar office secretary ගිහිල්ලා මේක දෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට registrar මොනවද කරන්නේ? So after the registrar companies has satisfied himself that all documents are in order and the relevant fees have been paid, yes, there will be a registration fee, quite high fee compared to අනිත් ඒවාට ටිකක් මෙතන high fee එකක් තියෙනවා. So he will issue a certificate of incorporation. එහෙනම් මෙතනදී ආර අපි කතා කරේ business registration certificate එක වගේ මෙතන issue කරන මොකක්ද? Certificate of incorporation. And also here it explain what is articles of association. Right? ඒක ආර separately note down කරගන්න පුළුවන්. I will give time to write. Right? So please listen right now. මොකක්ද articles of association කියලා කියන්නේ? The most important document of the company, the registration is the articles of association, which contain the objectives of the company. Like I said, මොකක්ද අපේ company ක objective එක, the rights and responsibilities of the shareholders, information about the management and administration. මේ වගේ the main information ටික දාලා හදන document එකක්. ඒකට අපි කියනවා articles of association. එහෙනම් මට කියන්න what is the process? So first you have to check your name whether it's available. So you have to reserve it if it is available, and then you need to provide the application, articles of association, and the consent from the founder directors to work as directors, and the consent from the initial or the founder secretary to work as a secretary. Along with that, you know, you provide all the documents. So if once the company register verified and check all things are in order, along with the registration fee, then the registrar will be issuing the certificate of incorporation. අන්න එතකොට ආයේ company එක incorporated company එකක් වඩපත් වෙනවා. එහෙනම් ඔයාලට එතනදී legality, continuous existence, අර limited liability අන්න ඒ කියන benefits ටික you can enjoy that. Clear? Right. So please come to that part. And also students, let me tell you this part. When it comes to the names, then නම් දාද්දි නේද, නම් දාද්දි පොඩි limitation තියෙනවා. දැන් ඔයාලට මෙහෙම නම්, ඒ කියන්නේ there are set of words. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා president කියන නම. ඒ කියන්නේ president like president transport service. ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ අර it will mislead the people නේ. ඒ වගේ. ඊට පස්සේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා කියන නම word එක. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ වගේ නම් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ඒවා restrict කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒවා companies වල නම් විදිහට දාන්න බෑ. දැන් දැම්මොත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා, දැන් ශ්‍රී ලංකන් යාළුවන්ට ඒවා belong to government, but when it come to there are a set of words strictly. I'll share that as well, students. Right here it says there are some restrictions for the names. ඒකත් අපි චුට්ටක් දැනගන්න ඕනේ restrictions. Here a company shall not be registered by name which as identical. ඒක අපි කතා කරානේ identical වෙන්න බෑ. ඊට පස්සේ chamber of commerce අන්න ඒ කියන word එක use කරන්න බෑ. ඊට පස්සේ president, presidential ඒ words use කරන්න බෑ. ඊට පස්සේ municipal කියන එක use කරන්න බෑ. incorporated කියන එක use කරන්න බෑ. cooperative කියන එක, society කියන එක, national, state, Sri Lanka මෙන්න මේ කියන දේවල් ටික use කරන්න බෑ. Right? There are restrictions on names. So students, what I'll do is මම ඔයාලට මේකේ screenshot එකක් එවන්නම්. මම මේකේ link එක ඔයාලට already share කරලා තියෙන්නේ. So we don't have to waste our time by writing, right? So what I'll do is, students, I'll be sharing this screenshot. So please have an idea. මම ඒක මේ විදිහට ඔයාලට highlight කරලාම එවන්නම්. ඒක පැහැදිලිනේ. first එක okay නේ, සමාන ඒවා තියෙන්න බෑ. ඒක අපි දන්නවා. But you know, chamber of commerce කියන word එක, president, presidential, දැන් හිතන්න කවුරු කම්පැනි නම presidential educational services. එතකොට හිතන්න මේක මොනවාරි මේක government related එකක් වෙන්න ඇති මේක එහෙම කියලා අර පොඩි mislead වෙනානේ ඒ වගේ දෙයක්. municipal කියන word එක use කරන්න බෑ. cooperative කියන එක society කියන එක national කියන එක use කරන්න බෑ. දැන් කවුරු හරි දැම්මොත් national transport. එතකොට හිතන්න මේක මේ government දැන් තියෙනවා national education institute කියලා තියෙන්නේ. ජාතික අධ්‍යාපන ආයතන වගේ සිලබස් හදන්නේ. එතකොට කවුරු ඉන්ස්ටිටියුට් එකක් පටන් ගන්නවා national education institute කියලා. එතකොට එතන mislead බලන්න මේක මේ private sector එකක්. So it will mislead, right? When you say national, අපි දාන්නේ national transport board. මේක SLTP. So it belong to government කියන්නේ අර අපිට national state කියන එක දැන් state pharmaceutical corporation. So it belong to government. කවුරු හරි පටන් ගත්තොත් state pharmacy කියලා state pharmacy. හිතන්නේ නේද ඒක mislead the people, right? Correct. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා that's the reason behind that. So මෙන්න මේ words වලට use කරන්න බෑ. State ඒ වගේම ශ්‍රී ලංකා කියන එකත් use කරන්න බෑ. පැහැදිලිද එහෙනම්? Right. එහෙනම් මම ඔයාලට මේකත් දෙවනවා. Have an idea. Restriction of the companies. Restrictions. හරි අපි දැන් මේක පොඩ්ඩක් check කරලා බලමුද? Can we check this? අපි අර name search එකට ගිහිල්ලා අපි මේක පොඩ්ඩක් search කරොත් what do you think? What happened then? හරිද? දැන් අපි name search එකට යමුද? මේ තියෙන name search එක. අපි මෙතන නිකන් type කරමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා කියලා. Here it says those all stuff, right? When you come to these government sectors, right? එතන කියන the name contain the word of above, right? ඊට පස්සේ අපි බලුවොත් national කියන word එක. National, right? It's not allowing, right? National, likewise. Right. Correct. Yeah, they are using national is using, right? So not here. National kind of word, national. Correct. So that's what the possible thing. So probably maybe the government entity is possible. Now, if you think about Sri Lankan insurance, they have used the word Sri Lanka, right? If you were the Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lanka Insurance, yes. National hall so it's belong to government. National paper company, right? So belong to government. The National Savings Bank, and the National Savings Bank, it's a government government bank එකක් එතකොට so not the either private sector එකට ඒ words use කරන්න love කළා නැහැ reason එක because of the misleading, right? I think all විදියට national ඒ කියන word එක use කරන්න පුළුවන් government entities වලට විතරයි. The government companies they can use. So guys, please come to your point here. Incorporation of a company කියන එක තැන please write this incorporation of a company, right? And then process කියන එක තැනට අර steps ටික ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ලියා ගන්න, right? So please complete that. Please complete. I'll be sharing the content. And here මෙතන ලියන්න ඕනේ incorporation කියන එක, right? So here's the incorporation. So then ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාගේ tut එකේ තියෙනවානේ අර process කියන එක තමයි මෙතනින් පල්ලෙහා process of incorporating. Process here, process. It says the procedure, yes. So register the company, name the check, and also අර separately එතනම articles of association කියන එකක් ලියන්න තේරුම සහ ඊට පස්සේ after the registration they'll be showing a certificate of incorporation, right? So please complete this part. Well, so Samadhi, are we clear about the stuff that we discussed? All clear? Any questions from your end? Okay, yeah, clear. Very good. So I'll be sharing back. Anyway, I have already shared this content to the group as well. So write it. So once you completed writing, you can leave from the meeting, right? So thank you very much for joining, and we'll be seeing you tomorrow as well with grade 13 management, right? So just, stay in the call or the meeting. So once you're done with writing, you can leave. Thank you.